This tutorial shows how a Windows Forms application can use groups in Microsoft Entra for authorization. The source code exists on GitHub. We will take a look at the app, then the high-level design, and some low-level design. Over here on the right, you can see the subgroup and subgroup setup for the tutorial. You can set this up manually, or you can use the provided PowerShell script. In the source code, you can see that a class userAuthStatus will be managed with dependency injection. Here is that class, and you can see it will keep track of the user is authenticated and the actual user object itself in Microsoft Entra, and some other things. Most used is the list of groups that the user is a direct member of or a transitive member of. And our authorization is going to be based on group membership. So let's sign in as Carla, and you'll see that she can do billing tasks and staff tasks, but not marketing, appeals, or admin tasks. Okay, you can see I'm signed in as Carla, and here's the buttons for this program, this application. And you can see we could do staff tasks and billing tasks, but these other ones are grayed out. They're disabled because she's not authorized. There's a couple other objectives in this tutorial we won't go into in detail, but here is experiment with Graph. And so it gives you a lot of information, and there's some code behind this you might be interested in. I'll show you one of those classes in a little bit, but a lot of Microsoft Graph stuff that you can experiment with. In the source code, I have a Microsoft Graph API wrapper. Here's one method in here just for an example. It shows that we're going to use Microsoft Graph to get groups that me as a direct member of. And there's many methods in here. You can look at the source code on GitHub. The sign-in button will use these scopes that we select via radio buttons for authorization, and we'll sign in with method 1 here. Here's the sign-in logic. It will ultimately return this GraphServiceClient that we need. So let's go look at the sign-in 1 method. Here it is. It does not too much. It calls a method getAuthenticationResult, which we'll look at in a minute. And from that result, it can create a GraphServiceClient. Here's the getAuthenticationResult method. You can see it uses a PublicClientApp, AcquireTokenSilent, and AcquireTokenInteractive in order to get the auth result. Finally, let's see how we can use the group membership to enable or disable these buttons based on the authorization for the user. So here, for example, in the code, you see for the marketing button, it will be enabled if the user is authenticated and the signed-in user is a transitive member of the group admin, which can do anything, or is a member of the marketing group. Likewise, for billing, needs to be a member of the billing group or the admin group, which can do everything. So that's it. You can look at the source code on GitHub. I should have mentioned that this is a .NET Core 8 application.